The whole purpose of this, or the why we are so serious about this, is because there's always an underlying crime. Okay. Anytime there's money laundering, there's always an underlying crime because these criminal enterprises are very profitable. And you can't just take the money if you're a criminal, or they just can't take the money and use it. Okay, they have to go through this money laundering process in order to get access to their funds. Okay, now it seems like it's kind of a headache, but if you think about it, it's pretty logical. Let's say I'm a criminal, or I decide I'm sick of doing BSA AML training and I'm going to become a criminal. And let's say I rob a bank or a financial institution, and I go and I rob the bank and I stick them up, and I get a big bag of cash. I can't just run with my big bag of cash down the street to my Lamborghini dealership, plop that cash on the front of the table and say, I want a red Lamborghini. Can't do that, right? It's suspicious. That will raise some eyebrows. They'll wonder, Kevin, where is all this cash coming from? And so I have to go through the money laundering process. And every single money laundering process has three basic steps. Okay. The first step is placement. Okay. I have to get the cash, whatever I did, whether I robbed a bank or whether I was involved in any kind of trafficking, organized crime, whatever it is, I've got to get the cash into the system, but I don't want to set off any alarm bells. Okay. I don't want the government to be aware of where that money's coming from, right? I'm a criminal here. I'm trying to get my money into the system without anybody really knowing where it came from. And when we're going to talk a little bit later about things like SARS, or suspicious activity reports, and we're going to talk about currency transaction reports, those are alarm bells. Those are warnings going to the government about what I'm doing with my money. So the first step in any money laundering scheme is placement. And I've got to get the money into the system without setting off any alarm bells. Okay. Step two is called layering. Layering is where I'm going to move the money around. I'm going to engage in some very complicated transactions. Think of it as a shell game. I'm going to move the money from this account to that account, or maybe I'm going to buy something and sell something with that money, or maybe I'm going to move it through a company or a front company that I've set up to make it very unclear where the funds actually came from. And professional money launderers have all different kinds of methods to go through and move the funds from one place to another in a way that you really lose track of its original source. Okay, that's the layering process. The third step is called integration. That's where the money is in an account, it's available for use, and it looks like it came from some legitimate place. Okay, so I've gone through, I've taken my money from the bank robbery, I've placed it into the system. I didn't set off any alarm bells. Maybe I structured those deposits. Maybe I moved it in through some other way. But then I move it around, so it goes through various accounts, or maybe it's buying and selling things. Maybe I'm running it through a business. But then finally, at the integration stage, suddenly those funds, they look like they came from legitimate business proceeds, or maybe they came from the sale of my grandmother's house. Whatever the case is, then I can walk into my Lamborghini dealership and I can say, I just sold my grandmother's house. I have all of this money now. I want to buy a red Lamborghini. Okay, so now you have a story to it. But any money laundering scheme has those three basic steps.